Burp.
Oh, that was live. Hello, sir. You
Hello.
just burp right into the audience. That was a good way to start the podcast off.
It's not my fault. I had one of the Mr. Beast chocolate bars.
Oh no! Please don't tell me you did that. My kids
I
love those.
did.
Oh God.
I did not like it. I did not like it in the least.
We have those on, on like stock at our house all the time. Stupid crap. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It is another week of gaming here on the FusionCast.
Yes.
Uh,
With no news. No news this
Not
week.
really. There was some news. I guess we can get right into like the some of the stories intertwine, but I guess the one that we can go over real fast is like I guess the conclusion to the Nintendo Yuzu lawsuit that lasted. What did it last? Did it last a week?
It didn't even seem like that. It seemed like they were going in the weekend, and then Monday turned around and they were like, "Oh,
We're
yeah,
hiring a
it's all
lawyer.
settled."
Hey, I think they were hiring the lawyer basically to negotiate a settlement, basically.
I want to say on like Thursday or Friday, and after reading a little bit more about it,
You were going to say you were wrong?
No, I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. It seemed like they did the right thing because, yeah, it's a lot of the shit that
They were doing
you
was
were
pretty shady.
insinuating seemed to actually happen, and I agreed with you. I said if that was the case, that yeah, that's not right. And the fact that
And you know what the overall state of it, if you care about emulation, some of the shit that they were doing, and by doing the shady shit, they actually have harmed emulation, basically.
they were stealing encryption keys, which really isn't
Well, it
real
it
emulation, in my
led
opinion.
okay, well, it hurt the emulation community.
Big time. Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed in it.
Yeah, it hurt the emulation community. It also Citra, the 3DS emulator, that they developed, correct?
No, I think it was one guy, the main Yuzu guy, had a part in the Citra emulator, so they just took it down.
Yeah.
And I think it's either back up or they were planning on bringing it back up.
Well, they can't do anything.
The people behind Yuzu, no.
No,
But the other people,
it's open source, but like
Citra is open source, so yeah.
But like they can't.
That's where they went wrong with Yuzu.
And they had to turn over basically all their stuff to Nintendo. And I'm guessing I've heard that it's possibly valuable information for Nintendo. They basically had to turn over their website or whatever. I don't know, but and basically they were using copyrighted BIOS for the emulator, and I don't know, but yeah, they were doing some bad shit. And if you are a fan of legal emulation or
There you go.
legal emulation, these guys kind of
They hurt the community, for
right,
sure.
yeah. And then did you read their statement that they put out?
I did, and the statement, I read it. It definitely sounded like I've seen other YouTubers say they sounded like they had a gun to their head.
Well, they were blaming the community too.
Well, yeah, that
when
too,
they were doing shitty stuff, you know.
Seemed like they were forced to make this apology.
Did you
being held hostage by Nintendo?
Did you hear that they have data on like all their users and data on how many people on Yuzu used illegally downloaded ROMs?
That would not surprise me.
So, like, yeah, that's
because I wasn't
they have
fully
a lot
on
of
board
data
with you until I learned the fact that they were hiding or
until you had all the information like I had, right?
Yeah, sure, right.
Right, yeah.
They were holding.
So let's go back. You were talking out of your ass until you had the information. You were combative until you had the information that I had, and then you came to my side, right?
Sure. To be fair, your information was rumor until what, Monday?
Well, I knew it. I know these things. You gotta trust the guy.
I can't trust you.
You gotta trust the guy, man.
You're shifty as hell. I don't trust you.
Yeah, they were.
For all I know, you could be one of the Yuzu guys.
I could be. Yeah. I mean,
Allegedly.
anybody got any money? Oh, they have
But yeah, no,
they made an LLC. They're gonna file for bankruptcy. They're not worried, but like,
that was their initial problem in doing all this is one, they base themselves out of America, right? So one of the easiest places to sue somebody,
right?
especially for Nintendo to sue somebody, because I was watching multiple videos on how many people Nintendo's gone after in the past.
Yeah,
It is a lot of people,
I'm sure.
and not all the times were they like malicious. Some of them were just like accidents, like the guy from Australia that kind of accidentally released the Wii U, or not Wii U, but Wii new Super Mario Brothers game on the internet.
How did you
Because
accidentally do that?
oh, it was an interest. I found it super interesting. He wound up buying the game early because one of the retail stores down there accidentally put it on the store shelves.
Yeah,
So he got it home and he started playing it, and he went on the internet telling people that he was playing it. It was awesome, and of course the internet was like, "No, that's not true. You don't have it. That's not possible." And so to prove that he had the game, he downloaded like a file of the game to the internet, and then the internet took that file, broke the encryption, and everybody had the game early.
you must be a complete moron to believe that story because like. He downloaded the game onto the internet, not maliciously, just to prove that
Hey,
he
this story's old enough that it could have been. Now, this isn't from the guy's mouth that said this. So this was one of those YouTube historian type people that was going over all these cases, and that's the information that I got from there. It did not seem malicious.
You
It just
must
seemed like a little
you
accident.
must be one of those people who like someone's trying to pickpocket you and they like I tripped and my hand fell in your pocket. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I am definitely not one of those people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was an interesting video. I'll send you a link of it later. I forget the guy's name that did the video. But Yuzu will be back. It'll just be under a different name. It'll probably be open sourced. Probably won't be based out of the United States, and there will probably be no paywall behind it, and thus nobody to go after for Nintendo.
Yeah.
They made themselves a target by taking money, by being in the U.S., and then having that Discord that. Man, I want to meet the Nintendo spy that got in that Discord and was just like getting all this information.
Totally. I mean, I told you they had a ton of information on these guys and they were doing malicious stuff. We need to go back in time and I want you to into the last week's podcast and I want you to apologize to me.
That's not going to happen. Never apologize.
Because you were
always march forward.
because you were wrong. I was right and you were wrong. Next story. So yeah, that's basically the end of that for right now. You think they go after any of these other Switch emulators or no? They just went after them because they were
the easiest target for sure.
Easiest target because they were dumb and greedy and stealing.
Yes.
Promoting stealing. Yeah, they were like sharing the ROMs with people. Did you see they had like they had files with like all of these illegally downloaded ROMs and yeah.
Yes, I did see that, and that was shady. So in essence, I think they might have deserved what they got.
I got to go back to and listen to last week's podcast. I'm really interested to hear how this 180 has come about from last week to this week.
Well, last week we were talking about that you were saying Nintendo was going after emulation. And then you had brought up the fact that it was a DMCA claim, which it turned out being that, and that's ultimately how Nintendo won it. So they weren't going after emulation.
Oh, so I was right. It was a DM. Yeah, hey, I tend to be right sometimes, a lot of times. I do tend to be
Once
right.
in a while.
Don't want to toot my own horn, but
there's no tooting here.
You ever heard of Warner Brothers?
That dumpster fire that somebody's
Whew.
Somebody high up in Warner Brothers is pouring gas on it, thinking that they're going to put it out.
These executives, man, they are just, especially like these Western executives. They just
Suicide
can't.
Squad sucked and failed. Let's double down.
They just, they don't know what they're talking about, and I think we actually talked about this probably in their last like financial call. They talked about Hogwarts Legacy, and like it just seemed like they weren't. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on one of the podcasts. So like they were happy, they were kind of happy with how it was being the best-selling game of the year, but like they kind of looked at it as a lost opportunity not to overly monetize people and have it get game. They're now retroactively upset that it wasn't a live service game since it sold 22 million copies.
What that tells me is we can't expect the next Hogwarts Legacy
game. It's 1,000% going to have live service bullshit in it.
Yep. Pay $10 for this wand.
1,000%. Oh yeah, you know that's going to happen.
And it's going to have online multiplayer shooter elements.
And yeah, what he basically said that these console single player AAA games are too risky.
I can't understand how they said that after they had the biggest success,
the biggest one of the year, and
last year.
And what would you say that's the biggest success probably of a single player game since Red Dead Redemption 2? Probably.
It's the biggest success on the current gen systems for sure.
Oh yeah, totally. So I mean, yeah, probably since Red Dead Redemption 2.
And then they just shit all over it.
I know. That's crazy.
What the hell, man?
Absolutely crazy. I know they're disappointed with Suicide Squad, and I'm sure Mortal Kombat 1 did great. Those games sell great. They're monetized. They have microtransactions, fighter passes, and stuff in it. And
the problem is they're getting more and more aggressive with it. Though,
yeah, they are. And the community is not very happy with it.
Yeah, in 10 it wasn't that bad. I think people scoffed. Was it 10? Yeah, it was 10 where they started selling the fatality.
Yeah, yep. And I remember there was a little bit people were kind of like side-eyed it a little bit, but didn't create a controversy. And now that I remember it, I think MK11 people were more upset about that.
Yeah, and then I believe MK1 is even worse than that. Do we even have sales numbers on these last Mortal Kombat games? I would not be surprised if the numbers are dropping.
I don't know. I'm sure this one is MK1 on previous gen. I know it's on Switch, but
you know what? I have no clue.
I don't know if we have. I'm sure we've got to have sales numbers last year to see what that
3 million copies. I just Googled.
Okay.
For Mortal Kombat 1.
What about MK11?
That was an easy search just because I just had to put an extra 1 in there.
Right, yeah.
15
million as of October 22. So it sold more than, well, Mortal Kombat X sold over 12 million copies as of March 2019. So MK11 did better
than 1. Yeah, it seems like they're on a downward trend for sure.
11 did better than 10.
But 1 is doing worse than 11.
It was 15 million copies after 3 years, roughly. So,
yeah, and a lot of those copies sold are at the high discounts. Like when I bought the game, I paid no more than $20 for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see MK1 jump up there when they drop that down to 20 because it's on sale right now.
Because if you're not a huge fighting game fan, and like I do want to play it, it's free this weekend. Like the versus mode, and like the first two, it's only the first 2 chapters of the story mode. Because I was gonna download it, I saw that on Game Pass Ultimate, and then I saw that's free everywhere, and I dug deeper, and I was like, oh, it's only the first 2 chapters. I'm like, dude, I'll hurry up and finish that this weekend.
Yeah, that's. Wait for it to go on sale. It'll by the end of this year it'll be on sale enough, especially after the disaster of Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad's already 40% off.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is going to need to to toss these things on sale
I,
to make
I
some money.
I saw it was the deal of the weekend or something like that on PlayStation store, and I was like 40% off for the digital deluxe. So the $100 version is only $60. It's $10 less than the standard version. And I was like, if I didn't have a few things that I'm already playing, I would maybe bite on that. But I think it's going to go lower. It's going to go way lower. But honestly, there's too many AAA games out right now, so I do kind of agree with them that it is. Some of these games are very risky because there's so many games out now, and I do feel like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Is that a lot of these companies discount their games so freaking quick? Like if you have any amount of self-control, you're gonna get them on steep discounts.
Yeah,
rather
if
quickly.
The game releases at the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, you could be expect to be paying at least half price, if not less than that, for a game.
Right. I mean, if you just wait like a month or two on some of these games, you can get them for $20 cheaper.
Yes. So, which is what I do, and I recommend that to everyone, because the way the games industry is right now and the way the economy is, I don't think any of these games are worth the amount of money that we're paying for them out the gate.
And this just seems to be a problem with like Western development. Like all these budgets are skyrocketed. They can't develop games. They take way too long. They're way too expensive. And all these Western companies just want infinite growth. Like they always have to be growing and growing and growing and getting more and more and more and more and more and more and more money, laying people off. We're not making enough. And then you just see the story about Capcom increase like their employee salaries by like 25% this week.
I did not see that story, but that is awesome. Good for them.
Let me see if I can find what it was. Yep. Let's see.
That's the way. So Capcom is essentially retaining the employees that built the games that sold incredibly well for them, right? So they're keeping those employees, paying them better, so they're going to continue to make great games. Whereas these other studios, we tout Western developers all the time, but these other people that don't get their names exposed, they just kind of bounce around from place to place a lot of times, being laid off here, then they go work there,
right?
Or they join somebody else that opens up their own independent game studio that then gets bought up by a company that they worked for before. There's just a lot of shuffling around in Western studios, I think.
Capcom, increasing all salaries by around 5%, 28% rise for new graduate hires. So the average salary is going to go up 5% and 28% rise for new graduate hires. I think it was last year Nintendo just raised its salaries for all employees by like 10% or 15, something like that. And like it was said that like they have a 98% satisfactory rate or something like that at Nintendo. But like it seems like the only Eastern company that like has like unrealistic expectations for infinite growth is like Square. Really, all the other ones you don't really see shit like this, layoffs, and because I think Square is run really like a poorly run Western company. But although I will give them credit though, like for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like they got that game out in less than 4 years, and that's pretty much unheard of now.
Right, but it's not selling like the first game did.
No, I think that has to do with the Final Fantasy name maybe not being what it was.
Maybe not being what it was, but also restricting themselves by selling exclusively on PlayStation 5 when everything else seems to be multi-platform now.
Right.
Like by next year, we're going to have day one Sony games besides Helldivers coming out on PC. They're just shooting themselves in the foot right now by just saying, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth plays best on PlayStation 5, and that's the only place to get it. Because there's still a ton of people that I watched another YouTube video on this today too, that only own PS4s, right? That's not on PS4, right? That game.
No.
So the only place to play it is on PS5, and there's more PS4s out there than PS5s, right?
Well, it's also negating Japan's most popular console, which is the Switch. but this couldn't run on
Well, yeah,
Switch.
that too.
So
I would not be surprised if Final Fantasy Crisis Core outsold Rebirth.
oh yeah, because it was on everything.
Yeah, and that's where they're shooting themselves in the foot.
That's a
That
damn
and
good game too.
putting unrealistic sales expectations on things. Square Enix has been notorious for that.
Right.
When a game comes out and sells like 5 million copies, but they're like, it should have sold 15 million copies.
Right.
It's you obviously don't know your audience.
But I will tell you, like this game, I'm shocked at how they got this game less than 4 years. Like,
and it's a different engine too, right, than the first one.
I'm not sure if it is. It might be. I don't know. It's a good question.
But it's the same engine as Final Fantasy 16.
Is it?
I don't know. We should look into this. I want to play it. I just don't think I'm going to buy it on PlayStation 5. I'll wait for the PC port.
Yeah, this just seems like a huge problem in the West where, I mean, you even look at like stuff like Remedy, what they make their games for, like super cheap, fairly quick. Now they don't sell a lot of copies, but you don't see layoffs and that they
know their expectations,
right?
Like what their expectations should be. They're not trying to outsell themselves. Even though I think Alan Wake 2 did do poorly for them, right? But they're still surviving, even though that game was not a blockbuster.
I mean, that game will probably sell, must be a slow burn as well.
It's going to spike when it comes to Steam.
Oh, yeah, because it's not even on Steam yet either, too. Forgot about that.
No, it's only on Epic. The worst place to play games.
What was I going to say about that? I do not remember now. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, yeah, and they just recently lost Sam Lake, too.
Did they lose Sam Lake?
He passed away. Wasn't that the guy?
No. He didn't pass away.
Yeah, the guy that played Max Payne passed away from cancer.
No, Sam Lake is the head of Remedy. It was like the first guy who played here we go. Sam Lake is the head of Remedy. It was James McCaffrey, and I forgot what he did.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He did the voice.
He did the voice. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's why I'm confused. That was a bummer because that voice was awesome. That was iconic.
I just think a lot of these Japanese studios are run way better than the Western studios. There's a lot less wasted time, which turns into a lot less wasted.
Most of them, for
salary.
Sure. Bandai Namco is definitely hit or miss a lot of times. Capcom seems to be firing on all cylinders. So does Nintendo. Sega,
I think also... Sega too. Like, look at. I mean, what they've done. Usually, Yakuza games are not big sellers, but like they keep churning them out and keep making them, and they have a good fan base, and they know what their games are what they're going to sell, and what they can spend on them.
Yeah, but then they have big failures like the last Relic Entertainment game.
You're going to have a failure here and there.
Yeah, but they were really banking on that game, and I think that hit them hard. But Atlas seems to be doing really well, especially with Atlas releasing stuff multi-platform now.
Well, nobody buys Atlas stuff on Xbox.
I don't know whether or not to agree or disagree with that.
Nobody even plays it because those games don't even show up on like the top 20 most played games on Game Pass when they release.
They do get a nice little boost in sales, though, whenever they do come to Steam.
So your friends on the Xbox platform
when your next chapter
don't even play their games.
Best chapter.
No, but they wanted them and they got them, and that's all that matters.
Well, no, more than that matters. You got to actually play them because they go away then.
I play them. I played a couple of them on Xbox. I just would rather not live in that ecosystem anymore.
Don't lie, deep down, you're still an X-boy.
I am not. I canceled my...
What'd you cancel your Game Pass for? I don't even want to play on that platform. I just fired it up, and I'm like, I don't even want to play on this system. It's not home anymore.
I was sitting there working, and I got a notification that Xbox charged my credit card the What did
Oh,
it
for
came out to
Game
like
Pass Ultimate?
$18.50 for Game Pass Ultimate for 1 month. And I was like, I don't even remember the last time I played a Game Pass game. This is just it's like having Netflix and never watching Netflix, right?
Right, totally.
And I don't want to play any of the because you still need it to play the games with gold that you got in the past, right? I don't want to play any of those currently. So I was just like, this is just a big waste of fucking time. And if I feel like playing something, I'll buy a month.
Right.
I'll rent a month of Game Pass to play something. Well, I still have it until April something. But yeah, it's almost $20 and I'm not using it. It is a waste of time.
Yeah,
Waste of
I
money.
downloaded that Warhammer Bulk Gun game today because I was on there to download the Mortal Kombat 1
That
thing.
game's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of want to try that. But, like, yeah, all the stuff that comes there, it's like, oh, I want to play this. But there's, like, games that I actually paid money for that I want to, that are, like, take priority over this. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Like you said, it's just like having Netflix and, like, you want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So.
Then you ask like your cousin or something like, "Hey, let me use your Netflix password."
Right, until the crackdown hits.
Yeah. You just wait a couple months and do it again.
You've been playing any new games this week?
Let me go by my last played here.
Because I've only been playing one game. Well, two, but
go ahead, shoot. You shoot.
Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, unless we want to get yours over so I can go about this and talk about it.
We can because I haven't played that much either.
Okay.
I completed a game called Steel Racer, which is that outrun game that I brought up.
Yeah.
Last week or the week before. 100% of it, got all the achievements. That game was a lot of fun. Wasn't difficult at all. Really enjoyed my time with it. And I played a little bit more Helldivers. We went to go see Dune 2, and I was playing it, the movie Dune 2, and I was playing it before our showtime at the movie theaters. And I like that game a lot.
You were playing it on the Steam Deck?
No, I don't know if it's Steam Deck compatible. I was playing it on my PC.
Gotcha.
Is it Steam Deck compatible?
I think it is. I've seen people play it on Steam Deck.
It's got the yellow.
Oh, that doesn't mean much.
So it means it's playable, just not fully functional. Probably has like small text in place.
And I've seen people complain about like the compatible, like they need a better definition of what's Steam Deck compatible, because some games that are compatible don't really run up to what people's standards are.
I've got Chrono Cross that every time I try to boot it up on the Steam Deck, because I think I played it before and the settings are changed, that every time I try to boot it up on the Steam Deck, because it needs a lower resolution, I can't play it. So I would have to go on my PC and change it possibly, because it might be downloading from the cloud my settings on every boot up. But the last game that I played, which was just like yesterday and today, because I was just screwing around with it, was EA did something nice for once. Electronic Arts.
And that is?
They shadow dropped a shitload of old games onto Steam.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they shadow dropped the entire Command & Conquer collection, and they made it work, even though before they took a bunch of them off. Like, I think they took off Command & Conquer 4 in generals because they're like, this isn't compatible with Windows 10 or 11, and we're not going to try to fix it. Well, they must have had somebody in a closet somewhere working on it and fixed it. And they shadow dropped that. They dropped the Populous games, a game called The Saboteur. I don't know if you remember that. That was from like the PS3, Xbox 360 era. They dropped SimCity 3000, which is an awesome game. Alpha Centauri and the Dungeon Keeper 1 and 2. But out of that, I downloaded just to see if they fixed it or not. Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun. Which was like the third or fourth Command & Conquer game released. In between Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 and Command & Conquer 3. And it worked. It's not perfect. It's definitely dated.
Did they drop those to Steam?
Steam, I'm not sure if they dropped them anywhere else, but yeah, they dropped them on Steam.
Are they putting all their new releases on Steam, or are they still like on Origin?
No, they're putting them all on Steam.
Oh, okay. 'Cause they all know
They learned their lesson.
they know all you weirdos don't want to fucking double click on another icon.
No, and they also started taking out their stupid digital rights thing where you had to log into Origin to play the game that you bought on Steam. They seem to be taking that out too. Either that or I just not noticing it. But yeah, Command and Conquer is a good time. If you never played it, I recommend it.
I've played Command and Conquer, the mobile game. That's one that's pretty good.
I don't know about that, and I would probably disagree.
Yeah, I liked it.
Looking now, I don't see them on Epic, so it might just be Steam. Maybe on GOG too.
I was disappointed that there's
That would be
no Dragon's Dogma 2 demo. It's just like some character creator thing.
Yeah, I saw that. I almost downloaded it, and then I was like, wait, I'm just gonna make a character that'll probably like load up the game later, and then not like that character, so remake the character anyways. So I didn't even bother.
Right.
Did not even bother. But that comes out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Not playing it.
Oh, I'm gonna play the shit out of that. I will let you know how it is.
I'll wait for the PS5 Pro version.
Yeah.
I played on the Pro. Not playing at 30. I will.
So what have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think currently I'm at 15 hours in. And about, I think, 23-ish% on the story. I think that's what it said. So, yeah. I like this game a lot. It's a pretty big improvement over the first one.
Too bad it's going to put Square Enix out of business.
Yeah, I don't think so. They got the bag for this game. Did you see? Yeah, now I guess like
That's
all
what
of
they
these
talking
games
like,
are
though.
exclusive, though.
Yeah. They seem to make the same statement for Final Fantasy 16. Oh, it did not meet expectations.
No, they said it met expectations. I don't know. You were reading bad headlines, I think.
Okay. Well, that's all I do. I don't read the articles.
I know. That's why. You're a dumbass.
And nobody got time for a full article.
Right.
Have you read
You
these
just
gaming
read
journalist articles?
Read these.
They'll start off with like 3 paragraphs of Final Fantasy 16 is a game made by the company Square Enix. The game that is made for the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 released in the year so-and-so and was mainly developed. Like, they just fucking word diarrhea before they get to the fucking point. Ain't nobody got time to read these goddamn game reviewers. Sorry, I went on a rant there.
Yes, they said their sales results were in their range of expectations. At least one of the things that they read.
Fucking verbal diarrhea.
It's all clickbait,
Game
and you listen to you get most of your news from Fratanga, so of course he's going to
He's my buddy.
He's gonna frame it a certain way because you like to listen to all these rage bait YouTubers that I'm mad that they hook you line and sinker, and you're like a little fish, you're like blah 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 blah. They reel you right in.
They make me happy.
Yeah. And I wonder if you like games anymore. Or you just like the rage bait.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, this game is much better than the first one. It is. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of different mechanics in this. It's almost like I guess I can't compare it to a Persona game because I haven't had it. But there's a lot of relationship building with your team. And
you go on dates?
No, I wouldn't say you go on dates, but you need to talk to them more and build up their relationship with them. And you do side quests. Certain side quests build their reputation with certain members, and that'll unlock different synergy abilities. There is better side quests in this. There's some really cool mini games, and I usually hate mini games or card games in these certain different games. I didn't play Gwent. Whenever these pop up in games, I'm like, I'm not in the game.
Awesome.
I'm not in the game to play another fucking game. I want to play this game. I don't want to play a card game inside of a game.
I heard the music for that card game though on a video. That music's banging.
But dude, Queen's Blood is fucking awesome. their little card game inside of this. I absolutely love Queen's Blood. Is it Queen's Blood? Yeah, I think it's Queen's Blood. And then Fort Condor was the one that was in the previous one, and I've actually played a little bit more of that because they kind of they don't force you to play it, but it's part of some of the quests. And so yeah, I really like it. I didn't even like Blitzball. Did you play Blitzball in Final Fantasy X?
I hated Blitzball.
So did I.
Like it now.
So did I. I fucking hated it. But like that is just me being like impatient and not giving these games a shot and wanting to play them. But like, yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with like these mini games in this one.
Nice.
There's a lot of crafting in this. A lot of focus on crafting. There's like material scattered through all around the open world, and you craft potions, antidotes. You can craft armor. I don't know if you can craft weapons. You can craft accessories. There's certain things you got to craft for side quests, and so like you'll have to defeat like a certain enemy to get a certain crafting material for a certain side quest. So you might not be able to unlock it right away. But it's a lot more in depth than the first one, and like if Final Fantasy 16 falls on one side of the scale for RPGs, this is on the exact opposite. Whereas Final Fantasy 16 wasn't really an RPG, this is a heavily RPG.
Well, I look forward to it next year on Steam.
It's an Ubisoft style open world game though. There's towers, and there's other things to do. Well, it's sad, but you play all the Ubisoft games.
Yeah, but I play them ironically.
I don't
play
know
them because I love.
Why do you do that? I don't understand it. You hate.
Sometimes it's innocent. Like I really went into Assassin's Creed Valhalla wanting to like that game, but after 50 hours and still collecting shit, it's Ubisoft fatigue, man.
You're like, you hate games that follow the Ubisoft template, but you sit there and play Ubisoft games. You're like, oh, see, it's a fucking Ubisoft game. I know it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm playing this Ubisoft game. I gotta beat it. It's a bad game, but I gotta beat it.
Somebody's got to be the masochist.
But like, yeah, there's towers you gotta fucking activate, and some of the stuff out there, like in the open world, isn't great. But there are things that like, there's these like crystals so far it's been broken up into the first region is like the grasslands region, and then now I'm in the Junon region. So like there's like all the like the Ubisoft stuff in each region, and one of the things you find are these like crystals that's like a marker, and you find 3 of them, and it makes your fight with the summon easier in order to capture the summon. So like there are decent rewards.
So it's like Pokemon too.
No.
Leviathan, I choose you.
No. Not like that.
Bahamut, I choose you.
Maybe kind of. Speaking of the summons, in the first game, like you rarely ever used them, but they're more. You use them a lot more in this game. Not as much as I liked. They're more prevalent. That's what I was searching for. Now the only thing with the open world is that I feel like it sent me on a course to follow the other stuff less than the main story. So it's pulled me away from that a little bit, where it's like it's conflicting. I'm conflicted about it.
And back to your discussion about open world, I actually like climbing towers when it's a puzzle to figure out how to get to the top. Now, some games do it fantastically.
This is just a ladder.
Well, then, no. Then that really fucking sucks. But like Tears of the Kingdom, figuring out how to get up some of those towers,
yes,
awesome, great puzzles, especially the one that was like sealed and you had to get in from the top. Good times. But yeah, if it's just a ladder, no, fuck that.
There's some really neat stuff. Like you got 5 characters with you, but you only have 3 in your party, and so like you get into a fight in the open world. You've got your 3 characters that are in the fight with you, and then the other 2 are kind of in the background, kind of, but they're still throwing, fighting, kind of. So I mean, it's kind of neat that they're still kind of there with
Okay.
you, but
We've
they're
had other
not.
JRPGs like this. They're like assists almost.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some games, I want to say that it was Breath of Fire 3 maybe, where like characters not in your party could toss like items to your party members and stuff like that. I could be
I
misremembering
don't know
that
if they're
game, but
actually you can actually see them fighting in like the background, but I'm not sure if they're doing damage or if they're really assisting you.
oh,
Really, I haven't
now
paid much attention to that. I just
now
noticed
I'm
that's
sad
kind of
again.
cool that like they're there. Either you see them with you and they'll just disappear, or like some JRPGs, like you pick your three and those are the only ones you see it all on screen. The other two, they just disappeared. Like even
Right.
when you're walking out in the open world, everybody's there together with you, but the other two that aren't in your party are trailing behind a little bit.
Forming the classic JRPG character train.
Right, yeah. And what's cool and neat is that even when you get on your chocobo, Red even gets on a chocobo and rides it too. Which is funny. Looks kind of funny.
Nice. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I just don't
It's a
think I
good
want to
game.
play it on. How is the performance?
The performance is fine. It's just a little blurry in performance mode.
That's sad.
I just won't. I'm not playing
You're
it.
supposed to be playing at 120 frames per second at 8K, man. What the hell happened?
Oh yeah, yeah. How was the performance on PC?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, a little black though, right? A little dark.
Yeah. But I don't see any of the shimmering or
You
or
don't no shimmering at all. Yeah, nothing. You don't see
yeah,
anything. Yeah,
solid frame rate.
nothing. Yeah, it's the best place to play PC.
Yep.
When the games come there, it's the best place to play, right?
Yes.
Are you gonna get Ghost of Tsushima on PC?
I was going to bring that up. I want to,
It's
but I own
expensive,
it on
isn't it?
PlayStation. No, it's not actually.
No, is it $60?
Yeah, it's $60, so it is kind of expensive for a PC game. But to buy it on PlayStation, isn't it 70?
I mean,
I
maybe right now, but it's been on sale multiple times.
yeah, and it'll go on sale on PC too. But I kind of want to get it right away on PC and complete it because I was having a lot of fun with that game. I just don't turn on my PlayStation, and I see a lot of Sony ponies are really pissed that that game's coming to PC, and I was like, why? And it turns out that was the last game. You remember when Sony was doing that?
I want to. How many did you actually see that were mad, or did you watch another Rage Bait video and they told you that a lot of them were mad?
Oh, I watched another Rage Bait video. I watched two
Okay,
actually.
yeah, okay.
That was going. It was mostly like mean tweets. Apparently, some of these people are creating like Steam profiles, or they have Steam profiles, and they're going on Steam and complaining on the discussion board on that game.
Can we just agree that
Which
it's pretty dumb to even acknowledge these people?
yes, it is 100% dumb.
Okay.
It's just hilarious. Like some of the comments are like, "I'm going to Xbox. You lost me forever, PlayStation, because you're releasing a game on PC." Maybe these people are trolling, or they're. It's hard to imagine that people are really like that, but I also want to imagine that there's some fat kid in a basement that's just so pissed off with his Cheeto encrusted fingers, complaining to Sony, and then he goes out and buys an Xbox for it. I hope that's real, because that's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to start vetting your comments here on the show. If you you can't use the Rage Bait videos as a source anymore.
I guess you'll have to do a show without me then, because that's my only source of information.
Basically, it is.
If you would have
had a Rage Bait video on Nintendo versus Yuzu, you wouldn't have been wrong last week. But
possibly, but yeah, no, I think it's gonna be awesome on PC.
I wonder how well it's gonna sell, being $60 and being so late.
I think it's going to suffer the same issue that all of the other games that Sony hasn't released day and date suffered, was that it was already on PlayStation. So people are going to be like me and wait for them to drop down to like $20 or whatever.
Supposedly they're going to be optimized for Steam Deck, so.
Oh, even more reason to pick that game up.
Yeah. And that's an excellent game. Did you play that? You played it before, right?
Yeah, I've got a good chunk through it. At least a third, if not somewhere close to 50% mark of that game.
I'm sure it's going to be really good.
Which
Good now
it's,
that it's on Steam. It's going to be good, really good.
I'm sure it will be on my PC.
Unfortunately,
Maybe not on your PC, but on my PC it will be really good.
yeah. You're like, oh man, this game is much better now that it's on Steam.
Yes, I'll update my score on it.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for it. I'm just excited to see good games coming out and into Steam to where I spend most of my time now.
Right.
Doesn't matter where the game comes from, as long as it's a good game.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever you say, PC boy.
You got it, Sony Pony.
All right. I think I'm done for the night. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna try to play something
I'm
because
gonna
I feel like I haven't played that much.
I gotta
But
go
before we go,
ride some chocobos.
I'm gonna put something on your radar. You remember the developers of Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yes. Moon Studios.
They've got a new game out called No Rest for the Wicked. Check out that trailer.
Is
This
it
game looks
is it woke? Is it gonna be on the Sweet Baby Ray's list on Steam?
I hope so. I love me some Sweet Baby Rays.
Are you gonna? Will you play any games that are on that Sweet Baby Ray's list?
Of course.
You will.
I probably own.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
already-
Going forward, if you see the list, do you check that list before you buy a game now?
No, I am a member of that list.
Well, of
Right.
course you are. I know you would.
I'm not gonna hide that. I'm a member of the list, and it's a nice place to get information. Like if I buy a game and I play it, and I'm like, man, this is some really terrible writing, and I go and I see it's on the list, I'm like, okay, things make sense now, right?
Well, then what good is the list then if if it's not informing?
Well, the list
your...
isn't for people like me. We've already determined that because I just buy shit to buy shit.
You do, yeah, that's right. It's for.
I have that fucking
it's
Gollum
it's
game.
for smarter people that want to make smart decisions.
I had the King Kong game, the Skull
You were playing
Island game.
You were
in my
playing
cart.
the Crew 2 in 2024, so it's not people like you.
Correction, sir. That was the Crew, and
I thought it was the Crew 2.
No, I have the Crew 2. I haven't played it yet. But I was playing the Crew and complaining about it a lot. But
all right, go check out Moon Studios. No Rest for the Wicked. I'll check the trailer out.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think I've
that.
seen it. It wasn't on the. Was it on the Xbox Showcase last year or something? Was that? Was on?
It was on
showcase.
somebody's.
Somebody's. I remember.
It had to have been Xbox's because
Yeah.
of the relationship.
Right. All right. Anything else? You got a Rebel recommends this week?
I do not.
Jeez, man, you were letting me. No, you none of these rage baiters recommend any games, or they just recommend you getting mad about games that they've never played.
You know they don't play them. They just talk about them to.
They don't.
Make the
yeah, they don't.
Angry.
Right. They don't play. They don't play games. I'm telling you. Most YouTubers, I don't think, do play games really.
Well, neither do the people that complain about games being a certain way.
Right.
The people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, this game needs more women or more representation."
Right.
Those people don't play the games either.
I agree.
Nobody cares about the games but us gamers.
Us GAYMERS.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yep. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. If you're still around, we will see you guys next Friday night. Hopefully, some rage bait news breaks and Rebel will be on the.
I'll be on the lookout all week.
I'm mad. This game's woke. There's a woman in it. She's not Caucasian.
Yeah, that's me. You hit the nail on the head.
I gotta go update Sweet Baby Ray's website. Sweet Baby Ray's curator Steam page. I'm a member. I'm not only a member, I'm a client.
Slather some Sweet Baby Rays on my pulled pork sandwich.
All right, everybody. We will see you guys next week.